I took on Jackson, the notorious playboy everyone thought I was obsessed with. He'd get into fights, skip class, and I'd be there, copying his notes. For 3 years, I was his ultimate simp, pouring my heart and soul into helping him get into an elite university. But right before orientation week, he dumped me. He looked down at me, arrogant as ever. I know you've liked me for ages, but your head's always buried in books. Compared to Chloe, you're just too stiff. Let's break up. I'm going to be with Chloe. Everyone was waiting for me to shatter. I glanced at my bank account, seeing the extra $50 million that had just landed. With genuine sincerity, I said, okay, congratulations. No one knew that my unconditional devotion to him was purely because his mom paid me an exorbitant amount. Now that the money was in, it was time for me to go. She got dumped by the school heartthrob and only said congratulations. Didn't even last a minute before she hung up. So Desi, Civ, she must be absolutely losing her mind with grief, right? Doesn't look like it. Too calm. More like she was looking forward to getting dumped. As the words hung in the air, someone cautiously eyed Jackson. He had his arm around his new girlfriend, but his handsome face was dark, clearly annoyed. They quickly changed tactics. Everyone knows how long Eileen has been crushing on Jackson. There's no way she's genuinely indifferent. She's probably just bottling it up inside. I bet you anything, she'll be back begging Jackson not to abandon her within 3 days. Jackson's scowl eased slightly. If she comes back begging, I might consider forgiving her. Let's see what she does. I was blissfully unaware of their chatter, dragging my suitcase towards the train station. Even if I had heard their mockery, I would have just offered a cold, faint smile. If it weren't for my parents' unwavering belief that a daughter was useless for studying and should be married off for money whi. She was young. If it weren't for my acceptance letter being shredded into worthless scraps, and my alcoholic father beating me until I was battered and barely conscious, that's when Mrs. Sterling, Jackson's mother, found me, and she offered a deal. If I could help Jackson get into an elite university, she would not only cover my high school tuition but also give me $50 million. Otherwise, I would never have chased after Jackson, the school's resident bad boy, always at his beck and call, his devoted follower, enduring everything without complaint. 3 whole years. I used every trick in the book, turning him, a rebellious slacker, into a top student, successfully getting him into an elite university. Now, my mission was complete. I finally had the money and could leave. I was too happy to even think about it. Why would I be sad because he got a new girlfriend? From the very beginning, all I wanted was to break free from hell and carve out a world of my own. Love, that was never on my radar. After orientation week, I didn't enroll in the university I was accepted to. My parents wouldn't let me go, not when a prestigious university student could command a decent amount of money. If I was going to leave, I had to leave completely. Over the 3-month summer, I took my IELTS and reached B2 level in French. I successfully processed my study abroad application. As I boarded my flight to Paris, Jackson's texts started coming in. Why did you block all my contacts? Eileen, haven't you thrown enough tantrums this whole summer? Even if Chloe and I are together, we're still friends. Stop acting out. Unblock me. His words still dripped with that usual arrogant tone, as if he was certain I'd be just like the past 3 years. No matter how childish he was, or how much he trampled on my feelings, I would eventually come crawling back to him. I simply took out my phone card, snapped it in half, and tossed it into the airport trash can. Along that card, I discarded all the humiliation, the calculations, and the unbearable memories of the past. The plane sliced through the sky, erasing all my prior existence. Later, my best friend told me Jackson had been leaving comments under my old social media posts. The messages were always something like, "Are you done acting up yet? It's just a relationship, why are you so mad? Add me back already," she said. At first, Jackson was convinced you'd come back to him, but when you didn't, he started getting really aggressive. Sometimes just hearing your name would make his face darken. It felt like I was listening to someone else's story. It didn't stir a single ripple in me. I used the $50 million from Mrs. Sterling to start fresh in Paris. I chose a top design academy. The language, the culture, the heavy workload, everything was a new challenge. But there was no Jackson to appease, no suffocating family, just my sketchpad, designs, and boundless possibilities or the future. Years vanished in a blink. Nurtured by hard work and talent, my jewelry designs began making waves at major fashion weeks, winning several prestigious international awards. As Lumina Company's newly appointed chief designer, I was dispatched back to my home country to spearhead the expansion into the Asia-Pacific market. My first day back, while grabbing lunch at the restaurant beneath the branch office, a hesitant voice spoke behind me. "Eileen, is that really you?" I turned, seeing a somewhat familiar face. It was Ashley, I think, a girl who used to sit in front of me in high school. Her eyes widened, openly scrutinizing me from head to toe, filled with astonishment and disbelief. "Oh my God, it really is you. You've changed so much." Gone was the timidity and the desperate need to please from high school. Time and experience had granted me a calm, composed demeanor. "Long time no see. It really is you. What a coincidence." Ashley seemed thrilled. "There, essay class reunion tonight, right upstairs at the Summit restaurant. Loads of people are coming, and Jackson will be there too. You absolutely have to come. Everyone will be shocked when they see you." Jackson? That name was like a distant symbol, one that hadn't crossed my mind in ages. I was about to decline, but then I reconsidered. Some things didn't need to be avoided. Okay. The entire day was spent dealing with new company handover tasks, keeping me swamped with work. By the time I remembered the reunion, it was already late. Too lazy to go back to the hotel to change, I just wore my casual clothes and headed up to the private room at the Summit. Pushing open the heavy door, a wave of noisy chatter washed over me. The private room was huge, with a giant round table packed with people. My gaze instinctively swept the room, and almost instantly, it landed on the man at the head of the table, clearly the center of attention. Jackson. He was more mature than in high school, his handsome face more defined. Dressed in an expensive casual suit, he exuded a relaxed, nonchalant aura, always the focal point of any crowd. Right beside him sat a young, pretty girl, her makeup flawless, her clothes flashy. But it wasn't Chloe. Looks like his string of bad girl girlfriends had seen another update. After a brief silence, a guy who'd clearly had too much to drink was the first to recognize me. Holy crap, look, Jackson, your simp, Eileen, is here. That shout instantly detonated the entire room. Everyone's eyes, filled with surprise and schadenfreude, swung to focus on me. Jackson's head snapped up. When he saw me standing at the door, his pupils contracted sharply. That easygoing, nonchalant expression instantly froze, replaced by shock and a complex emotion I couldn't quite decipher. The girl beside him immediately sensed his discomfort, tightening her grip on his arm and looking at me with scrutiny and hostility. Eileen? I ignored the whispers and STA. Rez. Walking straight to the empty seat beside Ashley, I calmly poured myself a glass of water. Eileen, long time no see. Brittany, a girl dressed to the nines as usual, was the first to speak. Heard you didn't go to college back then? Well, yeah, how could your family afford college tuition? So, where did you end up working these past few years? Please don't tell me it's like what everyone said, that you married some old guy? Your outfit today is pretty casual, though. She deliberately emphasized, married some old guy, making a few girls around her giggle behind their hands. I've been living abroad for a few years, just got back. I replied faintly, not wanting to elaborate. Oh, abroad, huh? Kyle, another guy, chimed in, his tone dripping with exaggerated sympathy. Returning from overseas isn't as easy as it sounds these days, is it? You can do some shady jobs abroad, but those are illegal here. We're old classmates, so have you found a job yet? Want us guys to help you out? My uncle's company needs an admin assistant. The requirements aren't high. Just need to know how to use a computer. The pay isn't great, but it's a legitimate job, right? Better than what you used to. He intentionally dragged out his words, implying something. Exactly. Brittany immediately agreed, feigning sincerity. Even though foreign men like Asian women, they usually just play around. Eileen, we're old classmates, so speak up if you're in trouble. With your background, you didn't go to college, and you don't have many nice clothes, so interviews might be tough. Maybe I can take you shopping for some decent outfits sometime? If you're short on cash, I can lend you some first. After all, you used to be such a genius. It's a shame to see you like this. Jackson remained silent. Only the fingers gripping his wine glass tightened slightly, his eyes fixed on me with a heavy gaze. His new girlfriend, Tiffany, finally couldn't hold back. She sneered, leaning slightly forward, a look of condescending pity and undisguised contempt on her face. Eileen, right? I've heard about you. I heard you used to be like a simp, desperately chasing my Jackson, helping him with homework, copying notes, even dealing with his teachers? You really worked hard, huh? She paused intentionally, savoring the classmates' expressions as they waited for the drama. But you had some self-awareness, at least, knowing that you and Jackson were worlds apart and had no future. So you just ran off. Though, it seems you haven't done so well for yourself. Now, Jackson is the heir to Sterling Industries, and me? I just took over my family's fashion brand and I'm busy negotiating collaborations with top international design companies. If you're in a tough spot, we can help you out. I calmly drank my water. No need, thank you. Tiffany scoffed, glancing at me dismissively, her tone now laced with triumph. You probably don't know how Uke influence I have, do you? You know Lumina? The rising French luxury jewelry brand. Their chief designer is a genius who won international awards in Paris. They're incredibly talented and very mysterious. I pulled a lot of strings to finally get in touch. If she could design a collaborative collection for my brand, it would definitely shake up the entire fashion world. With a snap of my fingers, I could probably even find you a job. Everyone immediately gasped and flattered her. Lumina? I know them. Their designs are so tasteful. I heard that designer is incredibly good, with impeccable taste. Most people can't even catch their eye. Ms. Tiffany's network is amazing. To be able to invite such a high-caliber designer, that's truly impressive. Only someone like her deserves to stand beside Jackson. Tiffany proudly lifted her chin, basking in the compliments. This was exactly the effect she wanted to achieve. What's the designer's name? So powerful? Someone asked C. Curiously, her English name is Eileen Sue, but she's from here. Tiffany tried to continue boasting about the designer she mentioned. I heard she's very young but incredibly talented, with a high standing in the French design world. It's certainly not easy for a small brand like ours to get her on board, but I'm confident, she said, then leaned intimately towards Jackson. Jackson, don't you think so? Jackson gave a distracted His gaze was still fixed on my face, his eyes seemingly filled with a silent resentment, refusing to say another word. Everyone continued to ruthlessly put me down, using it to elevate Tiffany. I simply picked up my water glass, took a small sip, my expression utterly calm. Just then, a gentle knock sounded on the private room door. A young woman in a business suit, clutching a thick stack of documents, peeked in, her face anxious and deferential. Ms. Tiffany, I apologize for the interruption. I brought the urgent Lumina project documents you requested, and regarding the designer, Tiffany immediately pressed, what about them? Did the designer reply? Have they agreed to meet with us to discuss? Her voice was full of anticipation. The assistant, Sarah, clutching the documents, nodded. I met the designer today, but she has an appointment tonight, so she scheduled a meeting for tomorrow. Hearing the assistant confirm that she had personally met the mysterious designer and arranged a meeting for tomorrow, Tiffany's face instantly bloomed into a radiant, determined smile. That's wonderful. She turned to Jackson, her eyes sparkling with triumph. Jackson, see? I told you I could do it, didn't I? I'm definitely going to close the deal with her tomorrow. The surrounding classmates immediately erupted in enthusiastic compliments. Ms. Tiffany's touch is truly extraordinary. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. We'll all be relying on you for opportunities, Miss Tiffany. Jackson, you're so lucky to have such a capable partner as Miss Tiffany. Amidst the chorus of fawning compliments, Tiffany's vanity was fully satisfied. Her gaze lightly swept over me, sitting quietly in the corner. Oh, by the way, Sarah, are there any basic open positions at the company recently? Like a cleaner, maybe? She paused, her eyes pointedly flicking towards me. That Eileen, she used to help my boyfriend so much. I heard she doesn't have a legitimate job right now. As classmates, I'd like to find her some stable work, just to help her out. The private room fell silent for a moment, then erupted into louder laughter and agreement. Oh, Miss Tiffany, please don't. Being kind is great, but some people, and their families, are just trouble you can't touch. Exactly. You wouldn't believe it, when she just ran off without a word back then, her parents came to the school and made such a scene, throwing a fit, wailing and carrying on outside the principal's office, insisting the school had kidnapped their daughter. It even caught the attention of local news reporters. The spectacle, TSK, just awful, so embarrassing. Right. Her whole family is like that, utterly unreasonable. Ms. Tiffany, your design company is just starting. It's a critical period. What if her parents come to your company and cause trouble? What would you do? Tiffany, hearing this, faked a look of profound relief. Is that so? Well, I'm really sorry, Eileen. See, it's not that I don't want to help you, but my design company is just starting. Its foundations aren't solid, and it truly can't handle trouble like that. I can't afford to attract any negativity. She finished, then deliberately leaned closer to Jackson, as if being near me would taint her with bad luck. Jackson only looked at me, his lips twitching as if he wanted to say something. In the end, he just scowled and held back. Everyone's eyes were fixed on me, watching with a superior, disdainful, and expectant gaze. I didn't understand why she was so keen-o and giving me a job, but I remained calm, repeating the words I'd just said. No trouble, I have a job, thank you. Tiffany sighed. That job of yours, if it's not working out, maybe quit. Being young and pretty has some advantages, but that kind of work can really wear you down, physically and mentally. A wave of sneering laughter rippled through the group. Sarah, the assistant, chuckled too, but when she looked at me, her professional expression suddenly froze. The thick stack of Urgent Lumina project documents she was holding, whoosh, slipped from her grasp and crashed to the floor, white paper scattering everywhere. The private room fell silent. Tiffany's face was full of displeasure. What are you doing? Can't even hold a few files? But Sarah completely disregarded her boss's scolding, pointing at me, a look of pure terror on her face. Miss Sue, what are you doing here?